Vail purchased this ski and snowboard resort in Europe, Andermatt, Switzerland. So if you have the Epic Pass, this is now one of your potential Epic Pass destinations. Is it good enough to be a destination just by itself? Well, I'm here right now, and these are some factors that I've identified that may help you decide. But let me first try and get you excited about it by showing you some examples of the terrain that you can hit here. Andermatt is among the easiest Epic Pass resorts to get to if you're coming from outside Europe. It's only a 1.5-hour drive from Milan's airport. Compare that to Les Trois Vallées in France, the world's largest ski resort. It's about a 2-hour drive from Geneva's airport. Sure, Les Trois Vallées is bigger, but you can only use your Epic Pass there 7 days during the season. Verbier is only 1.5 hours from Geneva, but to use your Epic Pass in Verbier, you have to stay at one of their designated resorts. And I found that there are cheaper and nicer accommodations available, but then you can't use your Epic Pass. Your pass is also only good for 5 days in Verbier. Here, because Vail Resorts owns Andermatt, if you have the full Epic Pass, your access is unlimited. You can ski or board here the entire season if you want to. The mountain has 3 bases, Andermatt, Sedrun, and Disentis. That's Disentis, not DeSantis. But it's not like other mountains with multiple bases where there's just one large mountain and you can go up and down to either base very easily. Instead, when you go up from the base in Andermatt, the terrain is kind of limited to the upper part of the mountain. There's a stretch to the right along the trail map that you have to take in order to get over to the Sedrun base or Disentis. Taking very short runs, staying at the top of the mountain with very short lifts. I kind of think of it as a high altitude traverse using a series of short slopes and chairlifts. I'll give you an example of what I mean. This is how short the run was to get from the top of the gondola at Andermatt over to the Lucha Sea Flyer chairlift. When I first did it, I was thinking, why did I come to the Alps? I can find slopes this size on the east coast of the US. But as you make your way over to Sedrun, you start to find longer slopes. This gives you a good sense of what the traversing is like up at the top of the mountain. I'm going from Andermatt to Sedrun, so I go this way. Meanwhile, you have people coming from over here, back from Sedrun to Andermatt, crisscrossing. There are multiple crisscrosses on the trail map. If you find the traversing concept to be annoying, you can bypass it by taking your train from Andermatt, which comes all the way up here, Overall Pass. That averts all of that traversing. And that's not all. In order to get back down to the base at Andermatt, you have to take what's essentially a hairpin turn road that they turn into a slope during the winter. It has guardrails, there are hikers going up and down it. I think the best way to view it is that it's just a nice meandering way back to the base at the end of the day. You can even stop at the bar that they have along the way. And there's another wrinkle in the layout of the resort that is Andermatt. When you look at the Andermatt base, there's the gondola that takes you all the way up to the Gutsch Peak, and then you can connect to Sedrun and Disentis. But there's also a tram that takes you up to a totally different area, Gemstock. The peak is right behind me. It's a collection of advanced, intermediate to expert slopes that you have to either take a bus to or walk about 15 minutes. And Swiss buses are like Swiss trains, on time. While there are some slopes that are not that steep, the majority of it is very steep. So if you're a beginner or beginning intermediate, I would recommend avoiding it altogether, even though there are some slopes that you might be able to handle. But for all the experts out there, there is great terrain, steep groomed slopes, and then you can jump off of them and find some great lines down the mountain. When you do that, it's almost like being hors-piste without being hors-piste. To give you a sense of how steep it is, I took the number 71 slope off the peak right in the morning. And it was steep, freshly groomed. So if you're somebody who loves just to fly when there's nobody around, come up there in the morning and you will certainly fly. And with that steepness comes some really incredible looking terrain. So dramatic and beautiful. Slope 72 is a yellow slope, which means that there are unmarked hazards, it's not patrolled, it's not groomed. It runs parallel to Slope 71. There are so many great lines that you can take, it's totally worth checking out if you like that type of terrain. Aside from the tram, which takes you to the peak, there are 2 other lifts. One is a T-bar that accesses only black slopes. It's the steepest T-bar I've ever seen. Then there's also a high-speed chairlift where you can find advanced intermediate slopes. One thing to take into account about Gemstock is that it's in the shade most of the day. So when it's cold, it could be even colder here than it is over at the other terrain of Andermatt. On warm days when the snow over in Andermatt is getting a little bit slushy, you might find better snow over here. If you're an expert or advanced intermediate, I would say Gemstock is probably going to be one of your favorite parts of Andermatt. If you prefer active, lively towns like Aspen, Park City, or even Chamonix, Andermatt is not that. It's small, one grocery store, one gas station. It of course has restaurants, cafes, stores, and bars, but the scene is a lot more subdued than you might find at other resorts. So if that's your scene, more low-key, family-friendly, Andermatt may be a good choice. While they speak many languages in Switzerland, the main language here is German. So my French, your Spanish, Italian, Japanese are not going to go very far here. They do speak English. Of course, in Andermatt there are plenty of hotels and apartment rentals. One thing I've noticed though is that unlike places like Whistler or Steamboat in Colorado, there are not a countless number of ski-in and ski-out accommodations. I ended up renting an Airbnb that requires a 3-minute walk. 3 minutes is not bad at all. It's only slightly uphill in the morning and then it's downhill at the end of the day. Works out perfectly for me. Because a lot of the hotels and apartment rentals aren't right at the slopes, you do tend to see at the end and the beginning of the day people walking with their skis and snowboards in the town. Right across from where I'm staying, cows. It is Switzerland after all. To use your Epic Pass, you need to go to the ticket office at the base of the mountain, show them your pass, and they'll give you a pass that works on their system. There's a 5 franc deposit required, so if you want your 5 francs back, be sure to give them the pass back at the end of your trip. As I sit on a chairlift, it's a perfect time to talk about lift lines. My first day was a Sunday and it was kind of crowded, not as bad as you would get on long weekends in the US or even just some regular weekends at some resorts in the US. There was one that was about 20 minutes, it was just total bedlam, everybody trying to merge to get onto 2 different chairlifts to the same area. But outside of that, the lines were fine. Weekdays, no lines whatsoever. The lunch options are great. Like most other resorts in Europe, there are plenty of restaurants all over the mountain, including one Japanese restaurant, the Chedai, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, which is at the top of the Gutschlift. It's a Michelin star rated restaurant, so that's pretty tough to beat. Andermatt, of course, has plenty of groom slopes, beginner, expert, intermediate. You want to practice your form, cruise, have a good time, it's all of course available. But what I liked best was going off the groom slopes and finding some pretty fun lines. My favorite run was traversing to the skier's left of slope number 30. For those of you who don't know, skier's left means you're facing downhill, go to the left, or boarder's left, however you want to cut it. Slope number 30 is in between Andermatt and Sedrun. It's an advanced intermediate slope that a lot of people are going down, and I thought to the left, there seemed to be some nice untouched snow. Untouched might not be the right characterization. It was touched, but over time the wind had blown so much that it looked fresh. One of the funnest runs I've done in Andermatt. Definitely worth the traversing. So hopefully that has given you a sense of what Andermatt is like and whether you want to use it as a sole destination for a trip to Europe. Or, like me, whether you want to combine it with another resort. But don't get me wrong, if my friend said, hey, let's go to Andermatt for the week, I'm down. What you do